Hey everyone, this is the Ghost Set Killer, James, and I am here today. Let's put him on the glass podcast with our guest.
Holly Biller, president of Key Media and Research, and helpful here at Auto Glass Week and WSCT, but most importantly, Auto Glass Week 2024.
And Sarah Bowder, competition coordinator for Autoglass Week.
So we're coming up onto a couple months into the show. We're almost there. What are you most excited about, guys?
I mean, where do you begin, really, James? I mean, I know you have a list. We've got a list. For my purposes, obviously, I'm excited about some of the new things that we've got. We've got more in 2024. You're going to have everything from competitions, demonstrations. There's a hands-on full collection. I know we can talk on that a little bit more. We've got some outstanding optional events, activities, networking, days and days. We've even got pre-event activities. So they've got kickoffs on Wednesdays. We've got extra guerrilla marketing sessions. Where do you begin? Really, Auto Glass Week is September 19th through the 21st, but we even have a few items for you on the 18th. So lots to take in.
I'm just excited for round two. Personally, this will be my second year going, my first year taking the reins with competition. So I'm just super excited to jump into it. I got my feet wet last year, but this year I'm swimming. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, I've noticed, like, obviously Donna did a great job, but I'm noticing that with you, Sarah, coming from every dealing I've had with you with this competition thing, you've taken over so smoothly, and it's going. Everybody I've talked to that's registered or have had a interaction with you is just over the moon with the way you're doing. So
Oh,
thank you
thank
for that.
you.
Yeah.
Of course.
And
Thank you guys.
yeah, I think it's going to be a great show for that reason right there. So what are you looking forward to, like, with the competition, Sarah? Are you looking forward to just a bigger show this year, or just more of the same?
I mean, everything all around. Obviously, it's nice, to have routine and say, okay, this is how it went last year. Hopefully, it goes the same this year. But in some aspects, like the AGTO competition, we're hitting record numbers. So that's super exciting to see. Everyone on our team is super excited. And obviously, for me, it's like, oh, okay, I haven't experienced it really yet to be that big. So I'm obviously super excited for that. But just all around, seeing the interest in the competitions from last year to this year, the passion from the judges from last year to this year, seeing the competitor turnout, it's overwhelming, but in the best way possible.
I mean, it is in sunny Florida, so that's a good thing in my opinion, because I love the heat. So, but Holly, when it comes to the demonstrations you were talking about, so what can our guest, I would say, to the show look forward to?
Absolutely. Great question. And if I can, I know Sarah's being very humble, but she has truly not just
Yeah.
gone from crawling to walking to running. She's phenomenal. And she's just really taken on. And Donna left some big shoes. I mean, these
Yeah.
competitions, as we know, they're
Definitely.
quite sizable, and everyone knows that I have all this enthusiasm for the event and all of its facets, but the competitions is a really important pillar. And I think Sarah's really done a phenomenal job and continues to grow it. So I'm really excited. And James is someone who's competed and
Yeah.
who's now seeing all kinds of additional sides and BTS behind the scenes. I think you would agree too. So
I agree. Yeah, she's doing wonderful. I Hats off to you, Sarah. Like, you're handling the pressure extremely well. And I was nervous when I agreed to be a judge, but every step she's held my hand and she's made it so great that it's like, oh yeah, dude, I just cruise right in and do this. She's got me handled.
she really does.
I don't
She
do it
really, really does.
alone. I don't do it alone. I can't take all the credit. I have my amazing team behind me. But thank you very much.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about some of those demos, James. Sorry, I had to get my
No,
little
no.
thank you plug in there. So, yeah, we've got a phenomenal lineup, and I do want to thank you because I know you had quite a hand in this. Yes. So we're kicking things off on Thursday. We're really helping our attendees have a full walkthrough, if you will. So there's like a windshield prep demonstration that leads into like a pre-inspection PPE for technicians and vehicle demonstration. Then we've got an auto glass repair demonstration, and that's just on day one. That's just on Thursday. Friday, you're going to see like a safe and a proper cutout. You've got the bead importance and windshield setting demo. That's at 1:45 with our friend Jorge Sandoval. We've got such a great lineup of folks. I kind of want to give a shout out to all of them, so you'll have to cut me off because
No, no,
I love
yeah.
to talk. We all know this. So
Shoot.
yeah, we've got auto glass calibration demos. That's all on Friday. Even Saturday, you can get a full windshield installation demo.
So with the demos, what I want everybody to understand is these aren't just people. Okay. You have 3 instructors from the Auto Glass University putting them on, 3 instructors from Kaizen Glass Solution putting it on. You have a gentleman who his whole life is ADAS putting on the calibration demo, and he works for Nielsen Moeller as an ADAS rep and everything. And you have the one of the world's best in Rahul doing, showing you the proper cutout. I mean, you're not getting some people that we pulled off the street that were doing windshields in the parking lot. You're getting world class instruction from people who instruct others in their normal lives, you know what I mean? Because they're instructors for other courses. So you're getting kind of like a snippet of what you would get if you took one of those classes. So I think it's great if someone just come and watch it. It's going to be a great event.
I totally agree.
So Sarah, with saying that, some of the competitors are actually doing demos as well. I know that you had to accommodate scheduling because of that. How rough was that juggle?
So nothing's finalized yet. We're still waiting for the competition deadline to pass. But yeah, we definitely, want to do them a favor and sort of make it easier on them. So you're not doing your demo and jumping into a competition or vice versa, finishing your heat and then running right over to your demo. So we're going to do as best as we can, to work with their schedules so that they can have it easy on both sides, have a peace of mind that they don't have to run around like a chicken with their head cut off the whole time. So
Yeah, that was like last year for me. That was last year for me. I did a talk in the morning, and then 10 minutes later I had to do the final. And it was like I was running, like I had my wife by the door posted up with my toolbox, and I did my talk, and then I ran over and got all my stuff and went on the floor because I showed up with everything. So it wasn't like I could just walk on the floor. I had all my setup. When
yeah,
is
we
those
see that a lot with the competitors. Like we'll
Yeah.
see, someone helping them out. Someone has their bag, someone has their case, someone has their stool, and they're all running around helping each other out. So that's awesome.
Well, yeah, just like you, we don't do it on our own. Like,
Hmm.
so I did win last year. I'm not sure if anybody's aware of that or not, but I did win last year. So I can't say that I just did it. Yes, I got the focus. Yes, I got it. But if it wasn't for Lisa, if it wasn't for Bradley Adelot, if it wasn't even for my competitor, Aaron Bradford and Jorge and Raul, I wouldn't have had a couple things that I needed because I couldn't bring everything with me and all that stuff. And then we all help each other get set up. And it really is a giant family. Once you get that networking going, you become a giant family that you kind of lean on that person, and no one does it alone. And that's one thing great about the competitions is like they kind of sit in the background, but they shouldn't. They should get brought to the forefront. And yeah, I no one does it alone. When is that competition deadlines though?
So the competition deadline for AGTO WRO is July 31st, and there are still spots open. So get in quick because they are first come, first serve. For the CSR competition and the calibration competition, it's July 15th. So that's only 3 days away. That's super close. And that's because
Mm.
those competitions, they have to have a preliminary round before the finals on site. So that deadline's a little bit earlier, but there are still spots in all competitions. So please, please, please get in super soon.
Super soon. Yeah. Because once
Super
they're
soon.
gone this time, right? Once they're gone, they're gone. There's
Yeah.
no more like we
Yeah.
have reached
We've
maximum
maxed out
capacity
on the
with the
floor.
fire
Yeah.
marshal and everything. We can't do
Yeah.
any more. So if you don't get your seat, if you're thinking about competing, which I highly recommend, it changes your life. Whether you place, you win, you don't win, but just coming to the event and competing, showcasing your skills on that actual stage, it changes your life, and it changes your life for the better. It really does. Because even if you don't win, you pick up why you didn't win, even though you don't know why you didn't win, but it forces you to self-evaluate when in our daily jobs we're so used to that mundane in and out, and this is how we do it, and this you get into that you don't self-reflect enough. So please come out and compete. There's only a few spots left. And if you're thinking about it and you're on the fence from a guy that's done it, just do it. Just jump into it. You
I
won't
know I've
learn.
had quite a few people call and they said, I'm on the fence. I don't know. I'm attending, but I don't know if I should compete. Talked to a few people that say I should just go and see it my first time. But from talking with the competitors, they all say just jump in and do it because you're going to be
Yeah.
nervous every year, whether it's first year or your 10th year. So you might as well just get it over with.
Absolutely. And if you get one of those phone calls again, just send them my way. You got my number. Just shoot them, send
Yeah.
them my way. I'll do my best to persuade them to be like, yeah, do it, do it, do it. Absolutely. Um, so Holly, I know we got the window film tent with us, that whole thing. Okay. We
Okay.
need to make auto glass a lot brighter, bigger, better. Cause those dudes, there's females and males and in that in that they are riled up, they're ready to go, they're putting on a show, and I want to see that this year. Don't you, from the auto glass guys?
100%.
We
I
need
mean,
to do
James,
it.
I agree. I love the colorful personalities that come to this event. And yes, you're right. When we have those tinters co-located, they bring a flavor that is all their own. And I would love to see our auto glass, everyone, competitors, attendees, sponsors, everybody just bring that light that they have. I think we've got just as much joy on all areas. And I definitely think we can let that shine. And if I can, James, I think you did a phenomenal job on that. I know you had a great quote on one of our What's What on Auto Glass Week where you said that when you were standing on the stage, and you thought you'd won fourth and you looked at your wife and you said, I won fourth, which is great because you were competing with these folks. But you had already brought your signature pink suit on the off chance that it had been your championship year. And it really was your championship year. And you were dressed for it and you were ready for it and you were primed for it and you claimed it. And I think that is 100% what I would love to see from everyone. When you come to Auto Glass Week, we're going to be in Orlando. It's sunny Florida. Bring your fun, bring your festive, bring your, bring the wonderful people that you are. And let's just make it the enjoyable educational experience that we all want it to be.
Oh
Like I
yeah.
said on the What's What Live, James, it starts with you guys. Like being with you, being with TJ, Raul, Jorge, all of you guys have the passion and the list keeps going. So if you guys just keep it up, it's contagious and it's going to spread like wildfire.
Agreed.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm just a colorful person, I guess. When I took third in Orlando, I showed up in a Hawaiian shirt to accept my third place, and like I love suits, I love all that, but I like flashy colors. So, just a little snippet. If you're attending the full windshield demo on Saturday, you're going to see myself and my co person in matching suits.
I'm
Done.
excited. I'm
Yeah,
excited. I
yeah.
need to be there. I don't care about the competition finals. I'm there.
I'm
So
not
Jane,
I'm not going to reveal the color because it won't be
okay.
signature pink, because
Oh,
signature pink is for the banquet, because I've got like I guess passing of the guard I would like to do. So, but it's signature pink is for the banquet, but I'm not going to reveal the color yet, but just wait. It's amazing. It is amazing.
I just had a great couple of images come to mind. I know they make suits with Batman and insignia, like the logo, like Batman and Robin, and that's what went to my head, James. So I cannot wait to see what you bring forth.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be fun. And also, I'll have a microphone. So,
That almost sounded like a threat, Sarah. Did you hear
yeah. I'm like
that?
thinking like, should we rewrite
I'll have a
that? Should we
microphone.
go back to the drawing board on that one?
Oh, James.
yeah, absolutely. So you're not just going to be watching us do it. We're going to be talking you through it and why we're doing what we're doing and why it's important we're doing what we're doing. And yeah, and it's going to be great. And I hope the other presenters that I have convinced, because they are my friends, to do this, I hope that they bring a flavor and a flair to their demos that is just, you know, gets people fired up. And even if it's something it's out of your ordinary, what you would wear or what you would say or how you flash you'd be, it gets people talking. And if you get people talking about what we're doing, then they realize it matters and we are passionate about it. Starting with you guys for putting on this show. I mean, Auto Glass Week was a pipe dream for me once I found out about it, and then I was able to come, and it's been awesome. So you guys have put on a great show every year I've came. I'm just excited for this year because I'm so involved.
Well, James, let's hope that that excitement is also, as Sarah said, contagious, because the more involvement we have from everyone in the industry, the greater it can be. We can really just build on everyone's insights and ideas. So I know we do like an attendee exit survey at the end, and that's wonderful. And we do utilize that to try to grow and expand and incorporate. But having your involvement and others, like you mentioned, having all the friends, that is what takes it to the next level.
Can we have a technician dance off?
Ooh, you're speaking my language, James. I'm making a note right now.
Yeah. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Actually, I'd be part of it. I'd be like, all right, I gotta jump in. I can't dance worth anything, but I dance like nobody's watching.
I can only imagine your signature moves.
Oh yeah, 100%. Since I've gotten bigger, though, it's a little bit harder to do some of the other things, but I can still spin on my back a little bit.
I was going to say, so the back tucks, we're going to be at a limited, right? We're not going to be doing a whole
Yeah.
like full round off into a.
Oh yeah, no. I'd have to bring my son in for that. That dude is like a gymnastics wizard when it comes to that stuff. He is just like, I'm like, how do you do that, man? You're 6'5". What the heck? Okay. But anyways, so at this point, we've talked about the competitions, we've talked about what we're looking forward to, we've talked about how would one go about getting registered to get on the floor if they don't want to compete, and how would they register if they want to compete?
Absolutely. So if you head to autoglassweek.com and just head over, there's an attending page. There's also the attendee brochure that's going to give you the full lineup, 20 pages of great info from your educational sessions all the way through those optional events. I know Auto Glass Safety Council is doing something new and exciting this year. They're going to be having a member mixer and meeting Thursday night from 8 to 10. It's going to be off property. Speaking of flair and color and excitement. So AGSC is going to be doing that. And it's not just for AGSC members, but also for non-members, prospective members. All are going to be welcome. So when you go to that registration form at autoglassweek.com, keep in mind all that's available to you. Just go ahead and select to register. And then the form's going to walk you through your options. If you want to partake in those educational seminars, make sure you select the full registration option. Obviously, if you want to compete, make sure you select that competitor option. If you're only interested or your time only allows you to be on the show floor for the visits with sponsors and to view competitions, not to compete, but to just to watch, then you could choose the partial registration option and then be sure to select your optional events from there. And that'll let you choose everything from like the kickoff at Top Golf, that's Wednesday night on September 18th. That'll allow you for the Friday night mystery dinner on the 20th. That's just another great opportunity for networking. So it's all within. Take your time. If for some reason you've already registered and you just heard us talking about something here on the Put Them on the Glass podcast and you thought, my gosh, I didn't check that box. No worries. Just email registration@autoglassweek.com. Let them know what you want to add and they can help you on the back end.
And on the
Awesome.
competitor side, you would do the same process. So you can go to autoglassweek.com. There's a competing tab. All of our competitions are listed out there. You can click on whatever competition you're interested in. They'll take you to the registration form, fill out your information, choose your competition, and it'll walk you through the same steps.
So is there going to be an app this year again, like in the past, to tell you like schedule, and if their schedule changes or if something's been moved up or down or around or where out on the show floor things are? Is that going to be a thing again this year with the app?
Yes, I believe so. I know. I'm looking at Sarah. I wasn't sure if she was going to answer. I was going to answer.
Okay.
I didn't want to. So we do everything we can to make sure that we've got the information available. We have had a few different apps over the years. So if my one piece of advice is if you've been with us before, make sure that you do watch for communication because it does change. And I remember a few years back, we had somebody that was still looking at an old version. So just make sure when you go to that autoglassweek.com website, you click for register here for updates. There's an option on the top right corner that sends out all the marketing updates, lets you know when deadlines are coming up, like Sarah mentioned, for a couple of the competitions. We're 3 days away. July 15th is right around the corner for those two for CSR and calibration. And then for AGTOWROs, it's the end of July. So that will help send additional reminders. It'll give you all the information about on-show location info and other things to look for. So that's a great opportunity just to get those in the know, up-to-date minutes and reminders.
Okay. And if you are competing and you get the app, like say we have the app, or like in Orlando, we had an app when I competed last time in Orlando. Funny story about that. Make sure you turn your notifications on. So the week prior to the competition, my wife and I cycled from Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C. on bicycles. We got in the car and drove straight to Orlando. Well, I was under the impression that the competitor meeting, packet pickup was at 2, competitor meeting was at 6. We pull in the parking lot at roughly 2:40ish. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get my packet. I get my packet. And then this is where I met Mr. Bradford. He was like, oh yeah, the competitor meeting's at 3:30. And I look at my watch, I was like, it's 3 o'clock. And I'm parked on the back side of the convention center. And he's like, yeah, you didn't get the update. I was like, what update, man? What are you talking about? Like what? And he's like, oh yeah, they sent out a thing that they moved up the competitor meeting to 3:30. And I was like, oh. So I get on the phone with my wife. I'm calling her because I'm like in sweatpants. I'm in like some sweaty because I'm driving, just got off the bicycles and I'm driving. I'm comfy. And I call her and I said, get all my stuff out, get my work uniform, get everything out I need to compete, get my safety gear because you got to show up with your safety gear. All this is checked. My
Mhm.
steel toe boots, everything. I get out there and then like she's like, where are you going to change? It's like, hold this towel up. I'm out there in me birthday suit, just throwing on clothes. And then I run back over to the competitor meeting and I get there and it was 3:29. I get
Oh
there
my
just in
goodness.
time. Yeah, oh yeah. And I walk in and I'm like sweating. I got my hat all messed up and sweating. And Donna looks at me and she goes, what happened, James? I was like, don't ask. Don't ask. So I sat down and I'm just like, oh, I'm like breathing heavy, but I did make it. So any piece of advice I give you is make sure you pay attention to notifications. Turn them on, turn them on, turn them on, because I could have avoided that because we took an extra long lunch when we were driving down. I could have, but yeah. So turn on your notifications so you don't end up in the parking lot in Orlando changing to get into your uniform.
That is
Yeah, I
very
think
good
that's
advice.
yeah, great advice. Yeah. James, can you touch on that a little bit more about the competitor meetings? So they are on September 18th. So that's the
Mhm.
day before the event for competitors. Can you talk about your experience being a competitor, being in that meeting, what they can get from it?
Oh, absolutely. So the competitor meeting, first of all, you want to show up as if you were ready to do a job. I'm talking safety equipment, your PPE, your work uniform, look good. You want to look the part because it helps you. If you look the part, you feel the part, you perform the part. Make sure that you're ready to go. Make sure you have all of your paperwork in order. Read your competitor packets of what they're looking for. Make sure you have your paperwork in order. Make sure that you've brushed up on your knowledge a little bit because there is a test. You will have a test. So brush up on your knowledge a little bit because is it a super in-depth hard test? No, but it's enough to kind of offset some knowledge to where there's things you need to know, because we need to know these things. If a customer asks us why it's important for a driveway time, we need to be able to tell them. So you're tested about things like that, just little things. I don't know the exact test, obviously, but so be ready for the test. Be ready to be judged visually. You will go up to the table, you will present your paperwork, all of your credentialing, everything like that. You'll be asked some question by the judges, and then the judges will be judging you on your neat, clean appearance. Don't show up in a urethane stained shirt. Don't show up with urethane on your pants. Get yourself looking right. Even if you have to buy a uniform specifically for this event, look right, look good, be ready to show up with a positive attitude. And if because this is when the competition starts, is at that meeting, and ask any question of the judges that you want because that's your only opportunity to ask questions to the judges. Make sure if you're on the fence about something, don't let it stew in your mind and go back and forth, or lean over to your buddy that's sitting beside you like, hey, how much time do we have for this? Ask it. Ask it. Do not sit in the back. It doesn't benefit you to be the quiet kid in the back of the room. It really doesn't.
Yeah, especially this year, we have a bigger group, so somebody might have that same exact question.
Yeah. Yeah. And ask it first. But make sure you show up. And this is what, we talked about on the live was competitor packet. It's super important, not just for scoring and your points breakdown, but letting you know what we are looking for as judges. And it gets you ready mentally. So please show up ready at the competitor meeting and show up neat and show up organized and make sure that you have everything that you need.
And James, I think it was you that said and if I am misquoting, feel free to let me know, but that you took that checklist when you were competing and you truly, every step, you put it in months and months in advance, and it just became second nature because you knew what was going to be looked for. So when those nerves come in from being, viewed by so many, especially those that are in your industry, that helped you to just kind of overcome any possible concerns or nervousness because it really just becomes second nature. It's just muscle memory. You're already doing absolutely everything by that AGSC standard, and you're already doing the most safe, proper installation possible. And it's just rote at that point because you've done it so many times because you were already working from that competitor packet.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gene Nichols, I'm sure anybody's been in the industry long enough knows who Gene Nichols is. Gene Nichols, I'm very fortunate to work with him on a daily basis. So him and I sat down after 22's disappointment. Everybody understands that in 20/21, I took third place. I went into 22 just cocky and and I didn't read a competitor packet again. I didn't prep myself like I was supposed to, but it broke my heart. So 22 was a let's figure out what you did wrong, Jimmy. Let's figure this out. So me and Gene sat down, and Gene's really good with spreadsheets and things like that. And we sat down, we went through the competitor packet, and we just listed everything and gave it a points value. Okay. And then I studied that for about 2 months. It was like November, December. And then starting in January, I started having Jenny Hall, which is our vice president of billing, accounts payable at our company. And then a couple of the CSRs, I started having them judge me and be my proctor. And I did that a few times. But mainly I looked over that every night. Every night. There wasn't a day that went by that I didn't look at it or that I didn't think about it. And it really helped because, like you said, I didn't have to think about it. I knew if I did this, this, and this, which was in my routine, I was scoring the points I needed. And as long as I finished the job, I would get all the points I needed. And there are little bonus points in that packet. If you read, there are little bonus points that you're like, oh, okay, I'll do that. You know what I mean? Like they're looking for this maybe. So there are some bonus points. So sit down and break it down. You and your coworkers sit down and break it down and figure out where you can take advantage of the points the most because they're there for you to take advantage of. Anybody can take advantage of them. It doesn't matter who you are. So take advantage of them. And a saying we have around the shop is, and it pertains to efficiency, but it also pertains to everything you do, is build efficiency into your routine. Don't let your routine dictate your efficiency. And so what that means is that if your routine isn't where it needs to be, you won't be as efficient. But if you've designed your routine for efficiency, you'll get all the points you need. You'll be efficient. You'll get done in time. And the nerves, you go on autopilot. And then it doesn't help to be a very personal person with your proctor. Get them involved because that takes away the nerves a little bit because your muscle memory will take over, but you're focusing on the proctor, which allows your mind to go into that muscle memory of doing the job.
And I think, like you mentioned earlier, even though you already have your routine just as a normal day auto glass technician, you have what your go-to routine would be. But coming to the competition, there are a little bit of tweaks that you might not have in your normal routine that you need to make in order to win. And so it's important, to know what those are, first of all. So reading your competitor packet will give that to you, but then implementing those, so it's second nature by the time you get to the competition.
Yep. Yep. And also on a daily, you don't get a super good chance a lot of times, because especially if you're a mobile tech, you're a lot of times they just give you their keys. You go over the vehicle with them on your pre-inspection, and then they just give you your keys and they go away. But the proctor doesn't go win this chance. But it gives you a little bit of chance to show your attitude and show your personality. And that was the fun part for me, was I was able to show my personality. I was able to joke. I was able to put my mind at ease because in the finals, me and the my proctor were singing things from The Sound of Music because she liked musicals. I like musicals. So we were actually going back and forth a little bit, which helped me. You know what I mean? It helped me get into, and it also, like you said, I was able to figure out those little bonuses that I don't do on a normal basis because the customer's not always standing there watching me. I was able to put her at ease and give her some confidence in me and show my professionalism while also having a little bit of fun.
And I
I
will
think you're
say,
a
oh,
perfect
sorry, Sarah, go
example.
ahead.
That's okay. I think you're the perfect example going from, competing third place, not placing to first place. Like you made the complete shift, the whole cycle went through you. So I think you'd be, a great person for our competitors to utilize if they have any questions or
Oh,
they're doubting themselves at all. You'd be able to give them your underdog story.
yeah, 100%. Not all of us can be Mackenzie Kerbo. That dude is that dude is a shining star. Like I everybody, if you guys have listened to my show at all, I fanboy on Mac and I fanboy on Jorge and Raul and I fanboy on all these guys because they're peers and they're also like just heroes to me. But yes, you're right. I had to put myself in the dogfight and figure out. So if anybody has any questions, you can hit me up on social media. You can hit me up through the Put Them on the Glass podcast. It doesn't matter. Just get a hold of me and I will 100% do what I can to help you. What were you going to say, Holly?
I was kind of circling back. I was saying, as someone who's spoken with many of the proctors, I do agree. If you want to have a I encourage that conversation. They really are in your corner, literally and figuratively, right? I mean, they're there in the corner near your vehicle, but they also are pulling for you. I know so often they're like, oh, they worked so hard and I could see all they're just their detail. And so you're right. You kind of have a built-in fan. You don't realize. And it's sort of it's like the 11th team member, right? Like that.
Yeah, and also guys, remember these guys know nothing about auto glass. Okay,
Yeah.
they aren't the ones judging you, but they have a sheet to see what you tell them, and you need to be communicating all this because they know nothing. These are people that are hired from usually the staff that works at the convention centers and things, and these are everyday people that are in our industry. So even if you don't win, if you can enlighten that person for when in their normal life they have a windshield that breaks, they can ask the appropriate questions to the technician that's coming. You've made that person safer without even realizing it. So
Precisely.
Yeah. And I
yeah.
do see it, being the one, I train the proctors and I go through like, this is what it's going to be like once you get down on the floor. So when they come in, they are a little weary. They don't really understand like what the competitions are, why they're watching it. But then by the end of it, when I circle back with them, they're all like, that was so cool. I never realized what went into it, or I've never seen that before. Like the situation where they drop their keys off. They're like, oh, I didn't realize that's what they did. So
Mhm.
it's really cool that, like you said, you're just giving them that insight that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
And you had that personal experience, right, Sarah? You didn't know much about it until your windshield broke, right?
Yeah. So unfortunately, even on a competition coordinator, when I'm on site, I am just running around. It's chaos all the time, but organized chaos.
I was going to say the
Um,
greatest kind.
it's chaos with a smile on my face, so that's good. So yeah, I didn't really get to watch the competition too much. And I wasn't involved in the glass industry before I got this position. So I had no idea. And I never, my 11 years of driving, I never had a windshield crack, never had a windshield chip, nothing. I was very fortunate. Until I got my brand new car. And then, of course, that's when my windshield cracked. And it was bad enough that it needed to be replaced. And again, I was fortunate that I got to go, behind the scenes and I got to watch the install. I got to watch the replacement happen. And it was amazing. I didn't really, seeing the person, it was like a dance. Like I hate to be that person, use that cliche, but it was a dance. Like the way he moved with his tools, just the coordination between him and his coworker, taking the windshield out, putting the new windshield in. It was just so orchestrated and beautiful. And I felt safe. I mean, when I got in my car, I was like, I'm good. I know I'm
Yeah,
good. Like I felt
yeah.
very confident. And it was an AGSC certified company. So
Oh, that's nice because if you've taken the time to become AGSC certified, you actually have to know a little bit about what you're doing to pass the test. And if you're able to not just have that knowledge, but implement it into your procedure, you're you, Sarah, are safe and you feel safe. You've watched the job. And because a lot of people don't know, like you didn't know, the proctors don't know. So if a proctor is any piece of advice I can give anybody with a proctor is if your proctor is standing off to the side and being very quiet, holding their clipboard, watching you, you're doing something wrong. I'm sorry. You have to get them involved. You have to make them part of it. You have to make them feel comfortable. You have to make them feel safe. And a lot of these technicians, they'll get into where their normal routine where they'll have their headphones in or whatever, and they're not talking. They're just working. They're not doing explaining the process. This is to show your skill and your knowledge. This is an everyday job like normal, but it's not. You're trying to display your skills, display your knowledge. Let that person who doesn't know about it know your knowledge, make them feel comfortable, make them feel safe. And in doing that, the judges will see that and be like, okay, yeah, he really does know why he's doing this instead of just doing it because he was told so. This is not only just a test of skill of your mechanical ability, it's a test of skill of your knowledge. You have to be knowledgeable about what you're doing and be able to explain it and articulate it to people. So that way, the outside judging, because you're putting it on display. This is not just, hey, I'm pulling up and I'm doing your windshield. Look how good I am. My mechanical ability is there. I'm able to tell you why my mechanical ability is going to make you safe. So please, if your proctor's
And
standing off to
another
the side, get them in there.
Yeah, and another piece of that, when I had my windshield replaced, the installer had a communication with me. We had a conversation. We were talking about, what was going on in his life, what was going on in my life. So it was very friendly, and it made me feel like I was talking to a friend that was doing my install. It wasn't like this transaction. It was very conversational and comfortable. So that definitely would be helpful. And also, when you are talking to your proctor, that might make you more aware of the steps that you need to be taking on your install. So something that you might normally cut a corner on, then you could say it, you're doing it out loud, and you're like, oh, wait, I actually have to do that because now this person's paying attention to me. So
Yeah,
that also might
absolutely.
help you in that vein too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. That's 100% correct. And the conversation piece, like what you're talking about, I think that that's great because whether it's a $500 Ford Ranger or a $40,000 whatever, that's all they can afford. And that's their baby, that's their transportation. And it is your job to put them at ease because you are taking a structural part of their vehicle out and putting it back in safely, hopefully. So the more you can make them feel at ease, the better it's going to be. Yeah, for sure. And you remember, guys, you're out of your element. You're not in your van or in your shop. You're in front of everybody. So if you can do something like Sarah said to spark that, so with everything going on, you don't forget a step. If you're talking it out through them, then you might, oh, yep. By the way, I need to, this, that, or the next. So those
Yeah,
are
and
very,
another
very good
touch on
tips.
the demos.
Yeah.
So my coworker, he's a videographer for our company, and he actually came with me whenever I got my windshield replaced, so he could record and get some footage and content out of it. So when he was there, he's been working for the company, what, Holly, 20 years for Chris?
Yes, 20 years for Chris.
Yeah. So Chris has been with our company for 20 years. How many windshield replacements has he seen in 20 years? And he still said that day he learned something new. So even after
Nice.
all that time, like going and watching the demos, watching the competitions, like you never know what you're going to learn, even though you think, okay, I've done this for 20 years, so I know what I'm doing. Well,
Hmm.
there might be a new trick, out on the market that you don't know about yet. So it just never hurts to come and watch.
And I think that's why I know, some years there's a Judges Innovation Award stemming from the AGTO because there are new things created by the technicians in the field, something they found to help keep it cleaner, help make it go faster, help it be a smoother cutout. Whatever it is they do, that's this at Autoglass Week is an opportunity where they bring those items that they've just created on their own. I mean, that's really equalizer, Ray Asbury, Eric, if you ever get a chance to talk to him, his father's legacy and just how that company came to be, it really was technicians creating things to make the field and make the workplace, easier and more streamlined. And the reason Autoglass Week started way back in 2000 as like Spring Autoglass, was because we wanted to offer an opportunity for people to come together and to build on the professionalism of the auto glass industry. And these competitions have done that time and time again. I think anyone who works with AGSC, you now know Jeff Olive. Well, he
Yeah.
was your very first champion of the Auto Glass Technician Olympics and the competitions. And I just think we have all, we all have raised one another up in regards to those additional steps, like James, what you're offering, and those that you would consider heroes. You each have built one another, and it's been just a fascinating and incredible experience to witness. And I hope everyone can join us in Orlando to do the same, because you're right, Sarah, those folks that have been in for 20 plus years, those veterans, there's always something new. Everything's always evolving. So it's really a fascinating and incredible thing to be a part of.
Yeah,
And
Irving got
James, your
the
comment last year. Oh,
go ahead.
go
No, go
ahead.
ahead. No, you, Sarah. You. This is your
Your comment from last year, when you won, and we asked you, what's next for you? What comes after a win for James Chapman? And you said you want to support your brothers and sisters in the industry. You want one of them to win next. So that's why you decided to step down. Some people could go into it and say, well, I won first. I'm going to see if I can win first again. But no, you were like, I want to support someone else winning. I want to see my Aaron Bradford win. I want to see, whoever your person
Mhm.
is, you want to see them win and see them succeed. So that's amazing that you have that mentality. And I see that a lot in the auto glass industry.
Yeah, there's a lot of us that are pulling for each other. 100%. A lot of us that are pulling for each other, even when we're competing against each other, we're pulling for each other, and we want to elevate each other to get better, because if we're seen as a profession, maybe then we can get some backing behind us for some legislation, for some credibility in our credentialing. So, because we are professionals and it means something to the outside public. And it starts with trade shows like this is where the word gets spread out. This is where those shops that are kind of on the outliers that don't really know, they come to this and like, well, there's some things I can really market here. I can market safety. I can market the proper way to do the job. I can market why I am the guy to go to in my I'm not your hamburger. I'm your filet mignon of your area. I'm the pristine steakhouse that you want to go to. And this is why. And they see it at our trade shows. And then that starts to spread throughout the public and everything. But I do enjoy seeing other success, because I know how much work it goes into it. And if you're willing to put that work into it, then you have to be happy for that person. You just have to, because you understand the grind and what it takes. And so yeah, I've any the top four past that, if you're coming out and competing, you have my respect. If you're thinking about competing, you're on the fence of having my respect. Come and compete, and it doesn't matter how you fare, but I will respect and help lift you up any way I can, because I want to see people in the industry succeed. I want to leave this industry better than when I started. That's my whole goal.
It's a
So
great
James, can
legacy
you
to
talk
leave.
about, yeah, how has it been for you since winning? Like, what has anything changed? Have you gotten more business? Have you gotten more? Obviously, you've gotten more notoriety in the industry, but just from people that maybe haven't attended the event, have they asked you about it? Like, what has that outcome been like for you since winning?
So when the local paper did their article on me, and I think the Auto Glass Week actually sent that to them. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
then the three local newspapers around got interested, and they came out and talked to me, and that helped with that. Then Sika, the one who sponsored me for my urethane for the event, shot a commercial with me. So that helped. That changed my life, because I never been involved in anything like that before. And that was super cool. It gave me more confidence in myself. And it's actually what started this show. I was on the fence about a podcast for years. I know there was one prior to me. There was a few prior to me that were very good and had very good hosts. And I'd actually been on one of those shows, which was with Drift Chris and them, which was awesome. But before that, even before 2019, I was wanting to do a podcast. And as a motocrosser, I was like, oh, I'll do a motocross one, because that's what I grew up doing. That's what I know. And then I was like, man, there's so many of those. And I don't really have an interesting perspective of that. A failed amateur pro motocrosser. What perspective do I really have? And it's like, you're a professional autoglass technician. Let's do that. And then it kind of went on the back burner. But after winning, I was like, okay, I have the validation in myself. I can do this because I can speak on things and topics and things like that. And it actually pushed me to do that. So as far as changing my life, obviously the $10,000 didn't hurt. The $10,000 did not hurt at all. I'm not gonna lie, that did not hurt.
Am I allowed to plug for the thanks to the sponsors like your
Yes,
XYG of
absolutely.
your
One,
auto glass technician
yeah,
and
plug
Glassweld on the
whatever.
repair side
Yeah,
and Autel on the color? Like without this sponsorships, like go and support those companies that can make this all possible too. Yes.
yeah, 100%. Go to their booths, visit, talk to them, buy from them, whatever you need to do, because that $10,000 did not hurt me at all. It helped in major ways. But as far as like day to day, no. It didn't really help as far as like in the actual business. We're able to market it a little bit, which has helped. It's helped a good bit marketing a little bit, But as far as like my boss being like, okay, now you can coast, nah, that didn't happen. No, no, no. I'm still expected to perform, and I do, but I'm still expected to perform. But as far as like marketing, yeah, we market it. We market it. We've always marketed being a AGSC company. You know what I mean? Because we've been certified way back when it was the NGA. Prior to all the standards, my boss has been very good about that. So we've always been part of that, and we've marketed that. Now, we can market that, I won, and all that stuff. So which that has helped. The commercial has helped. I mean, obviously, I wasn't on Facebook or even any social media prior to third place in Orlando. Then I started getting more involved and started getting some more, like, I guess you would say, notoriety. And the winning has actually helped with getting some more notoriety and everything like that. But actually, what's helped me more with that has been being an instructor with the Autoglass University, because I can offer, tips and tricks, and people reach out to me and is like, hey, what's this Autoglass University about? And so, but as far as the Autoglass Week winning it, it's just, other than my confidence, it's helped in marketing for sure.
And James, would you also say that the folks that you have met at Autoglass Week have kind of built and expanded your network, that you can support one another in that regard? Like, I think when you were talking about like your friends, I feel like Autoglass Week creates opportunities for friendships across the globe that may not have occurred otherwise. Would you agree with that sentence, or what would you?
1000% agree with that sentence. I went from having a couple local technicians prior to 2019 and going to Pilkington for some of their demo days and stuff like that, which is where I met Cody Allen at, to having a group of people across the world that if I have a situation where I have a question, or I need to buy something, or I need to just be like, hey, look, guys, I need this right now, or what can I do? Or, hey, I'm just feeling a little bit down. Can you guys, because they can understand what I'm going through. I have a network of people now that is so strong that I honestly feel prior to this going to Autoglass Week, I couldn't have went just anywhere in the world and became a technician. I really couldn't have. I mean, we can a little bit, I guess, but because of Autoglass Week and the network that I have, I feel I can go anywhere and work for anybody at any time because of my networking. I always have that phone call like, "Hey man, could you give me a job?" And yes, absolutely. I know who you are. We've networked. The networking is there's just nothing like it in our industry. Even the demo days at your local warehouses and stuff, yeah, you'll get a little bit of marketing from the tooling companies and glass companies that come in, but nothing like Auto Glass Week. Nothing at all. The networking
And
that
not
I
just the
have, yeah.
personal,
Go
oh
ahead.
sorry, not just the personal relationships, but can you talk about professional relationships too? Like the reps that you get to meet, the different brands that are there, like those are people that you wouldn't normally come face to face with. Can you talk about how those relationships evolve?
Yeah. So, Joel Erickson of Precision Moldings. Um, Obviously, we've developed because of our professional relationship of buying moldings off of him direct now. Okay, so PGW, IGC, Migrant, Pilkington didn't actually have this one molding in stock that I needed. I called Joel directly and I had it within 2 days. So the professional there of talking to Joel, meeting that rep, doing that, it it's just amazing because that develops into a personal relationship. The professional will evolve into a personal relationship because as you get to know that professional person a little bit more, you become a little more relaxed. They become more relaxed, and you realize that hey, we both enjoy this or that, and then you start talking, and next thing you know, it's like hey, families want to meet, kind of thing, But as far as a professional level, um, I feel that a lot more people um, will open doors if you've met them in person than if you're just calling them on the phone. So if you meet them in person at Autoglass Week, they're more likely to answer your phone call. So that's as far as a professional level. I don't think that you will go wrong there either. Personal level, yes, and especially competitors and stuff like that, and meeting people in your professional levels will turn into personal. But I think you can meet your IGC reps, your migrant reps. You can meet your XYG, where the people. I think as an auto glass industry, we forget a lot of times that there are people behind making our products we install. And I learned this from going to Carlight in Nashville because I do a lot of teachings there. and you get a plant tour at the end of it. And you actually see people who, even though the glass that is coming to you sometimes isn't the greatest and there might be mistakes, there's still a person behind that. And you get to see that at these shows, that there are people behind these products that they're making for you, and they care just as much about what they're doing as you do. And like, just like as technicians, we have slip ups, they do as well. And you get to see that person behind it. So as a professional level, I think you'll get a little bit more open mindedness when you meet these people and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, there is a person checking these. It just slipped through. Or, I didn't realize that the migrant branch manager of my local migrant was so nice, because I
Yeah.
never had to talk to him or whatever. Or you do have a concern and you're there and you approach it with them, and then they're willing to listen to you. I think the networking, especially professional or personal, is amazing.
I also think that feedback that you just mentioned is priceless to them. I mean, as the manufacturers, they want to hear from you. You are their user. They want to ensure that whatever it is you're experiencing in the field, on the job sites, they want to be able to address it. So it's wonderful to have that back and forth, that relay. I think that's really important. So,
Yeah, I agree 100%.
yeah.
Sarah, how's the networking helped you as far as seeing all these glass? Has it helped your job as a competitor organizer? I guess it is. But how has that helped your job, seeing these companies and talking to these companies?
It has definitely. Like I said, I wasn't in the industry at all before I took this position. So even my first year, Donna, bless her heart, she's trying to explain it to me. And she's like, this is what urethane is, explaining all of the terms. And I'm like, I just don't get it. But then I'll meet someone, or even about glass, like who a distributor or manufacturer is. And I'm like, I don't understand. And then I meet, a Troy Mason of a Caliber, or, a Steve of PGW. Like I meet these people through AGSC or through Auto Glass Week, and I'm like, oh, that's what that is. And it just all pieces together as I meet these different faces that are like the different, that different part of the process. And they're responsible for that piece of the process. And it all clicks and makes everything make sense. So definitely, it's only my second year, but I'm definitely building those relationships. And I already have people that I met last year that I'm looking forward to seeing this year. So it's just amazing to see it come together. I've never been involved in an industry that just treats each other with this much respect. And yeah, it's amazing.
Let's talk
It's
about
a
Troy for.
family.
Oh, yes, yes, it is, Holly.
It's a
It's a family.
family. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, let's talk about Troy for a second. How cool is it? He goes into Caliber and then he holds an offsite competition to send the best of Caliber to our competition. That's saying something for our
Yeah.
competition right there. It's like we're not just going to show up. We're going to show up to perform. Like Connor said, we're not here to participate. We're here to take over, kind of thing. That's the kind of attitude I got from that. So congrats, Troy, on that. You're building a culture that seems to carry respect when it with Caliber. I thought that was so cool when I seen that he did an offsite competition to send competitors. I thought that was cool. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
think that's really cool. It's obviously an honor for us. So we can see, if they have their own competition, but then their winner still comes up the next level to ours, like that's a huge honor for us as well.
yeah, it means that we're the pinnacle, right? No. we,
Indeed.
so Sarah, I'm hearing rumors, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in the AGTO, we may see our first female competitors this year.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I cannot confirm nor
Nor
deny.
deny?
You'll
I'm telling you right now,
have to
like
wait until the show program comes out.
I'm telling you, I've kind of been leaning on Linda and leaning on Danielle and Rollinson, and I've been leaning on Jamie Percival to come out. Melissa Martin, come out, come out. I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out. Guys, register before the end of it. I'm calling you out. And any other female in our industry, come out. You can help. You can have setters help you set if you don't have a setting tool, things like that. Guys, girls, you can have a setter with you. But I would love to see some of our sisters in the Autoglass Tech Olympics come out and compete, because we have some very skilled females in our industry that kind of get pushed to the shadows a little bit, and that's not cool. Let's bring them to the forefront. Let's celebrate them and what they're doing, because we celebrate ourselves and what we're doing. Let's celebrate them as well. So stay tuned for that. There may be some first female competitors this year.
And I think, you say it all the time, but I'm hearing it from multiple people as well. It's easy to say autoglass guys, but you're very adamant about saying my brothers and sisters, or it's males and females in the industry. Like, you're very inclusive. And I think that's helping because, in a room full of guys, it's hard, maybe to speak up sometimes. So I think that everyone that can be more inclusive and more accepting of that is just helping it get better and better.
Oh yeah, we need to accept them because it's not just an all boys club, and it doesn't need to be, and it shouldn't be, in my opinion. It shouldn't be at all. I don't know if I mean, I kind of have always had that opinion, but I think raising two strong, independent daughters has helped with that. Like, so I understand that. I hope they come out. I hope our brothers and sisters are there, just being like, let's do this, let's do this, let's show them what we got, and I hope that they're comfortable enough to come out and join us. Because I tell you what, when the females came out in the repair Olympics, Susan shut it down.
Yes.
Shut it
I was
down.
going to say the women in repair have certainly represented over the years.
And then Tiffany has she just was like, you know what? Look at this. Watch this. Sarah is like, bam. And I'm like, oh, like they do such a great job. And they're so there's just a joy. This is a joy. And I hope I see more calibration sisters come out. So because calibration is one of those competitions that is kind of like, it's so important to our industry, but they're not getting enough hype either, which they need to be given some more hype as well, because it needs to be part of our industry, because it is important to what we do. So let's see some more people come out and let's get it going. I really do hope some females come out. Yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be a great show. I hope that everybody just enjoys themselves and has fun. So we're coming up on an hour, which is what I like to keep it to. So let's do some final thoughts here. Anything you guys want to get out there? Anything that we want people to know?
I would say if you haven't already booked your hotel room, do it quick. I would say, I'm just being candid. You want to be close, quick. It's first come, first serve. And those rooms, they are like hotcakes. So get your hotel room. If you haven't already registered, make sure you do that. It's all right there at autoglassweek.com. We try to keep it simple. If you can't find what you're looking for, give us a ring. You can call our main offices at any time with any questions, 540-720-5584. I know James has offered himself as well. So if you've got competition questions, feel free to reach out. But we're really excited. September, Orlando, it's going to be fantastic.
Yep, I can't wait. And again, competition spots, they are filling up fast. So please get in there. They're first come, first served. We are at capacity, no more room. So please get in there as soon as you can so you can guarantee your spot.
And I just say, come on out. And if nothing else, you'll get to see me just be me. I'm just kidding.
I love that. I'm going to start. I can see the next marketing brochure, right? Just come see James be James.
Yeah, it's not Autoglass week anymore. It's James Chapman week.
Love it.
Oh no. Let's not get too carried away there, guys. But hey, I appreciate you coming on my show. It's just getting started. It's in its infancy. We've had, I don't know, 40 or 50 shows. I can't remember exactly how many shows, but we just started last October. So thank you for coming on. You've been an amazing guest. At any time you want to redo this, let's do it. I'm down for any lives. I'm down for anything. You guys know that. I want to make it better. So everybody, thank you so much for joining Put 'em on the Glass podcast. I've been your host, the Ghost Set Killer, and we have our guest,
Holly Biller
and Sarah Bowder.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.